You've caught me where I go to after I finish the breakfast show at 1Xtra, which is where I spend my mornings, and I love doing that, and it's amazing. And in the daytime, I'm mostly here at Atlantic Records, where I'm A&R director. Currently working on Jess Glynn, Melissa Steele's one of the acts we're working on. Chris Shane is another amazing act. Still work with the amazing Wretch 32, who's got his album coming soon. And since I've been here, I worked with Jacob Banks as well, and All About She. Earliest experience of the seminar, I went to the one that was in the Dame Dash one. I was in uni, I think it was my first year in uni, and I was always in the mix with music from when I was young. I always used to read booklets. That was my thing, of reading who was involved in records and who wrote records and who produced and stuff like that. When I was in school, I used to spend any penny I got, I used to spend on CDs, and started collecting CDs. Used to make the best mixed CDs and tapes, and I used to bring them to school and then college, and then just make sure everyone was up to date with tunes. And then that kind of spun into DJing. I'm lucky enough to be from East London, and I came through DJing and kind of getting an obsession with music on a more serious level at a time when the garage scene was turning into the grime scene. And being from East, you know, I grew up with the likes of, Roll Deep were from my area, and, you know, they were pivotal. People like Wiley were like pivotal and instrumental, and kind of the reason why garage kind of took a certain twist. And I was lucky enough to kind of be around that. And then from there, I started university and wanted to take music more seriously, you know. So I was in uni doing marketing and management, and even before that I worked a job for a bit that I didn't really enjoy. It was in accounts and in marketing and stuff. And it's just that thing of, you know, music was the thing that was your passion, that you did on weekends, and hopefully you got a bit of money DJing, and that was the only hope of having a career or kind of earning money or doing anything that remotely felt like a job. One thing I did when I was in university was, and it's funny because this is the reason I ended up at the seminar. When I was in university, being around some of the exciting artists that were coming through, like I was in the studio with the likes of Kano and people that were working on stuff with good friends of mine like Wonder and Wiley and people like that, and it was like, these people are incredible. I really want to capture some of the stuff that's going on in a product form. And I put together a mixtape called Split Mic with some friends of mine, my brother. And yeah, it did really well. We had like a 7-page spread in ID magazine with some of the artists that were involved. Like, so it was SAS, Kalashnikov, Kano, DEE, the Roll Deep Boys. And it was all exclusive freestyles. We hired a studio and got some of the kind of grime lot on hip hop and the hip hop lot on some grime. And the mixtape kicked off, and I ended up getting contacted by loads of people from the industry. I remember I got an email from Darkus, Glyn, and it was amazing to kind of feel like to interact with people from the industry and people who earn money doing jobs that I never even knew were out there, like A&R and whatnot. And then I met one of the last people I met was Ben Cook, who was then one of the A&R, well, he was running the Ministry record situation. And then I met him. I remember sitting there in my Fitted and my Split Mic t-shirt, because we had these t-shirts, and just talking to him about MC culture and how exciting it is, and that there's a kind of new generation, and that this kind of transition from garage to grime was really exciting. It was going to be the future and whatnot. And we was talking for ages. He was like, you know what, you should come and have a job. I was like, job doing what? It's like A&R. I was like, and funnily enough, that a couple of weeks after that was the seminar, and it was the Dame Dash one, and I was in uni at the same time as the SAS boys. And so I kind of was aware that these guys were coming even before the seminar, and it turned out it was all roped into the seminar at the time. But funnily enough, I couldn't get in. And Ben Cook actually got me in. I don't know who he emailed, but I remember one of the first things I thought to do was like, I've got an industry contact now, surely he can get me in, and he did. And I went on my own, and there were loads of people that I knew there, and it was interesting because it was like, wow, okay, I'm not the only one with an interest in the behind the scenes vibes of the music industry. I mean, there were like hundreds of people there, and I found that really exciting, to be honest. So yeah, I remember it was just inspirational to be there. If I'm honest, I don't remember some of the things that were being said. It was just about being there, and just about feeling the energy, and just about, you know, seeing people who, you know, the Rockefeller story is quite a famous one, isn't it? So everyone knows it's like, you know, they you know, created their own success in a lot of ways, and had a movement going that was super exciting and their own. And I think it was weird. I think, you know, you could tell why it excited the urban scene at the time, because it felt like with that transition and what was going on around 2002 to 2005, there was the emergence of stations like 1Xtra. There was the kind of Channel U generation. There was a very DIY kind of work ethic that was going on. You know, people making their own videos. A lot of new artists were getting signed. It was around the time Dizzy had won the Mercury. So all these new things were happening in this new generation of like Black British music, to be honest. So it was a really buzzy time. It was really exciting. It just felt like loads of opportunities. And obviously, I was lucky enough to be part of that in terms of being able to have an opportunity to become an A&R and learn at Ministry. And yeah, it was super exciting. I remember it just seemed like a proper buzzy day. I didn't even take that much in, but like I said, just being there. It was weird. That period of time where that first seminar that I went to, I experienced kind of really, just gave me an energy, man. And to just the sheer scale of it really kind of energized me, man. And it really made me realize that, you know what, there really is an industry in the UK. So for me, that just being there and just feeling that energy and that buzz, and, you know, someone like Dame Dash has come over to, I remember, like I said, with SAS, I knew that you know, they're friends of mine. So even that, him taking an interest in the British act at the time, and it was just like, I know these guys, and they're like rolling with Jay-Z's peeps, and it was just like, it was all like, yeah, it just felt like, right, okay, this is serious. This isn't distant. It's something you don't. It's not something you just watch on TV. Like, I feel like at the Urban Music Seminar, when I did do the talk, I think it was the first one I did was 2 years ago. I know there's a girl there who bugged me, and I remember I lost her number and I couldn't get back to her. And I walked into Ireland to see my brother, and she was there. She's got a job there now. I was a bit like, I felt bad. I was like, I should like. But at the same time, it was quite inspiring, because it was like, look, well done, because you've obviously used your kind of drive and passion. And I remember talking to her, and she was like, I really want to. You've created opportunities for yourself. And I bet you there are people that she met there who have become her peers, and the people who are entering at different places across the industry, be it management companies, doing their own thing, labels, and she'll come through as part of a generation, because I feel like that's what's happened to a lot of people who are in the industry now. There's a generation that you kind of create a network. And I just think it's good to kind of, I mean, the obvious things in terms of learning and actually being able to get in front of people and ask really specific questions that benefit you and your own personal journey. But kind of hearing other people's experiences as well. It was interesting hearing the frustrations of some people. You know, talking to artists at the Urban Music Seminar is always interesting for me, because I feel like one thing I've recently learned is my job and my path in the industry is to provide a service to artists, to be honest, to kind of allow their talents to shine as much as possible and to get better at doing that. So it's always interesting for me to hear artists' experiences of the industry, wherever they're at, whether they're, you know, new to it, whether they're kind of coming to the Urban Music Seminar to do something as simple as turn their CD to an A&R. It's interesting to see how artists perceive the industry as well, because I think that's really important, because I think having worked in it for a little bit, I feel like we've always got people who are providing opportunities for artists have got to be as good at what we do as they are, to be honest. Future predictions for the music industry, I think it's changed so much in the last 2 years, man. And obviously I think we're going through probably the most rapid period of change since I've entered, or since I've been in it, with the introduction of streaming and certain ways in which success are measured chart-wise. I feel like the measure of success is going to change. I don't think, you know, for every artist, chart success is as important as it used to be. The industry, funnily enough, isn't about labels and, you know, jobs and all that. I think the industry's starting to become more about the artists and music, and, you know, them being able to like I said, I think my path, even just outside of being at Atlantic, I try and interact with as many artists as possible to be able to kind of like use my own experience with the industry to help provide advice and something from my experiences that can help whatever next step they're trying to get to. Big up the Ultimate Seminar. Keep educating the masses. I love it. I've learnt a lot being at it. I've learnt a lot being at it in different capacities. Coming in the crowd, interacting with artists, interacting with other people in the industry. Yeah, keep going. We need it. We need it so bad. And if you're watching this and you haven't been before, don't be stupid. Like, go. be there, get in front of people, interact with all the videos, keep in contact, subscribe to everything, follow the Twitter account, make sure you're as informed as possible, because I think there's a certain type of education you get from it that's it's quite pure, because I think it all comes from a good place. So yeah, just follow it, be there, interact with it, and get yourself involved, and good luck with whatever you're trying to achieve.